When Bernard Palissy created this platter in the 1500s, all agriculture and clay materials came from the local footprint of where people lived: the potter, the farmer, the cook. Kay Thomas writes, "The same hand that had cultivated the meat and plant life on the farm turned the pot that served and stored food." The farmer was a potter. The potter was a cook. That cook was a farmer, and the farmer was a potter. Currently, our carbon footprint has grown vast. Food and clay minerals are now mined, grown on one continent, and travel thousands of miles on container ships before they reach us. For the last 10 years, clay artists, like small farmers, have gone to the ground and started digging clay, both to reduce their carbon footprint and committing to a more sustainable way of life. Not only does this short circuit the global transportation chain, but gives tremendous satisfaction to artists who are discovering locally mined clay in combination with the food grown by regional farmers. The following are a small selection of artists who work at this intersection from multiple perspectives. In 2023, an artist residency brought together ceramic artists and chefs to collaboratively cook and serve delicious food presented on handmade clay objects. They thoughtfully made ceramic serving pieces specifically developed to highlight the recipes and to create a physical and cultural connection to the food. Greg Moore is the son of a butcher, and he is the creative partner to a chef. That chef is also a farmer. The bones from that farmer's cattle are also in the clay body of Greg's pottery. The plates above show the dynamic intersection of farming and creating food that, when served on Greg's artwork, elevates the whole experience between food and pots. Sarah Howard's sustainable 14-piece hand-thrown tableware is made from 75 to 100% waste materials. The collection replaces finite mined or quarried minerals reclaimed from Bali's rivers and water treatment systems. All of these materials would otherwise be sent to landfills or pollute waterways. Belgium-born artist Pascal Baudard is a writer, naturalist, and self-styled culinary alchemist who uses invasive and non-native wild edibles to explore food preservation techniques that are beneficial to the environment and experiments with wild clays and plants. Roxanne Wetzel is a Santa Clara Pueblo artist who, along with others, started the Flowering Tree Permaculture Institute, a multi-project organization which includes seed banks, workshops, residencies, and farms. This is a traditional Pueblo Ponte bread oven that uses their local adobe clay for its exterior structure and is part of their mission to create and deepen their cultural assets benefiting their community. Willie Singleton compares the parallels between the slow food movement and his way of making pottery. For him, slow clay means using unprocessed and locally obtained materials with less emphasis on the speed of production and more time spent on the depth and richness of making the finished pots. Takuro Shibata and Hitomi Shibata established Starworks in 2009. It's a clay processing production facility to manufacture local clay and residency program in North Carolina and the USA. As a couple, they created Studio Toya and both have individual artist practices and collaborated with Matt Levy on publishing the book Wild Clay. Mitch Iberg and Zoe Powell work separately and together. Studio Alluvium is their collaborative partnership, and in this project called Birdsong, they created custom tableware for a San Francisco restaurant that utilized glazes developed from the waste ashes from the restaurant's hearth. All of their clay materials are collected and sourced near their studio in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The black pottery of La Chamba is still mined on the banks of the Magdalena River in South America, in central Colombia, and date back to the Tolima people who lived there before the Spanish arrived. Their clay is mined on their ancestral land, and to adapt, this has changed the original cycle of making. The potter is no longer the farmer or the cook, but now includes being the accountant. And as older cultures struggle with their pottery practices, young organizations like Craig Garden are taking root. Craig Garden is a residency program and working farm at the nexus of environmental conservation, supporting ceramics, literary and visual arts, as well as farmers, chefs, activists, and researchers. Craig Gardon's dynamic programming connects these strands together, helping us understand how to live a more sustainable life through our art, agriculture, and food. Thank you, and I hope you take pleasure in a life filled with making ceramics and eating delicious food tenderly grown in a garden nearby.